Hey, I'm Randy, and I'm the cheap audio man. Who wants to have some fun? Who wants to have some fun? I do. It's Saturday Speaker Shootout. Another sub $200 Saturday Speaker Shootout. Who do we got up here? Sony SSCS5s, the Klipsch R51M, Yamaha reference. No, that's not it. Fluence reference, Yamaha S803. Grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and let's talk about the Saturday Speaker Shootout between the Sony SSCS5s, the Fluence reference, the Yamaha S803s, and the Klipsch R51M. Today's sponsor is Lacey's. Let me see. I gotta make Lacey's giant Kurt Cobain poster that's super pixelated, and obviously someone just grabbed it off of the internet and then blew it up to 13,000 feet by 9,000 feet. When you want a giant pixelated poster of Kurt Cobain playing the guitar, consider Lacey's. I actually bought that by accident. Like, I saw the picture and I was like, oh, this is super cool. I want to put it on my wall. And then I got it, and it was the size of my table. And apparently I didn't look at what the actual specifications of the size of the poster is. Okay, so, woo! Slamming everything around. Going old school with an envelope, all right? Actually, I wrote it sideways. So let's talk about the specifications and how these things are built. All right, we're going to talk about the Sony SSCS5, currently priced at $150. Regularly goes on sale all the way down to $75. And then it also goes on sale for $120. $150 is the top end. All right, it still competes though. All right, it is, let's see, 87 dB at 6 ohms. 87 dB sensitivity. That means how loud it plays, okay? The higher the sensitivity, the louder it plays at any given power, okay? 87 dB, 6 ohms. It's a three-way, so 5 1/4 inch cellulose something or other woofer, 1 inch soft dome or 0.98 inch soft dome, 3/4 inch super tweeter, all right? Rated down to 53 hertz, up to 50,000 hertz. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we talked about that. All right, build quality, it's okay. It's okay. All right. Klipsch R51M. This isn't actually it, if you were curious. I had it and I gave them away. All right. But we're going to talk about them anyway, because I think they fit into this category. Klipsch R51M. Not the powered, the passive. $230. All right. Their retail is like $280. Occasionally they go on sale for like $150. All right. They're 93 dB, 8 ohm. Rated down to 62 hertz, up to 21,000 hertz. 1 inch aluminum dome tweeter mounted in a horn / waveguide. 5 1/4 inch copper spun woofer. Fluence reference. Where are you? There you are. $180. This price stays pretty steady. Sometimes they'll go down to $150, but they're always in like that $150 to $200 range. Okay, thank you, Fluence, for being normal and keeping your prices stable. 85 dB sensitivity, 8 ohm, rated down to 50 hertz, up to 20K, 1 inch soft dome neodymium tweeter, 5 1/4 inch woven glass fiber woofer. All right, Yamaha S803, 87 dB, 8 ohms, currently at $180, rated down to 57 hertz, up to 26K, 1 inch soft dome, 5 inch poly something woofer, $180. They occasionally go up to about $230. Okay. Build quality, best on the Fluence. The Yamaha looks good, but if you move them around a lot, you can see that you might have some issues. All right. All the speakers in this price range are about the same. Okay, but the Fluence is pretty much a standout. They're actually made pretty well. They have kind of a different shape. It's not just a rectangle. Nice glossy front baffle, front ported. It's just made better. Okay, all these other speakers are traditionally distributed. The Fluence is a direct consumer speaker So generally you get a little bit more for what you pay for. Okay? All right? So if I'm ranking them from best to worst in build quality, Fluence would be number 1. Yamaha and probably the Eclipse, and then maybe the Sony. But the Sony's not bad. Actually, the coating on the Sony is probably going to hold up the longest, with the exception of the Fluence, because these you can get little peelbacks and things like that. Same thing on the Klipsch. All right. Let's talk about bass. All right, based on these, we are going to talk about basically 2 categories. One is bass presence. What bass presence means to me is how apparent does the bass sound at low volumes, or all volumes, really. Does it seem like it's balanced with the mids and the highs? Okay? And then we're going to talk about how that bass sounds, or some people call that tonality. Does it sound like a bass, or have the, I don't know, subtle nuance, happiness that all that involves? All right? So bass presence. Now, bass presence doesn't mean this necessarily has the best bass. It just means it feels like it has bass, because it does. But it also could mean that that bass is bumped. All right? What did I use for this? I used Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys. That's for bass roll-off. And then I used Killing Strangers by Marilyn Manson. Again, for bass roll-off, but also for punch. All right? So, the best bass presence goes to the Yamaha S803. Coming in number 2, Sony SSCS5. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, then the Klipsch, and then the Fluence. All right? Fluence doesn't feel bassy at all. At all. It just doesn't feel like there's any there. Okay? That's bass presence. All right? Talk about tone. The funny thing about the Fluence, though, is the roll-off actually is pretty steady. And roll-off basically means how far down can you hear. Because like the Yamaha S803 feels bumpy, but it doesn't roll off very well. Okay? Sony SSCS5 rolls off probably the best besides the Fluence, but see, the Fluence doesn't have any presence, where this one has a bit of presence. So anyway, tonally, like how much detail can you hear? Does it sound like a real bass, Synth bass? Sony. All right, Sony, then the Fluence, then the Yamaha, and then the Klipsch. The Sony, although not having the bass presence as the Yamaha, actually sounds more detailed on the bass. So we're talking about like when a bass drum hits, like on Highway to Hell, does it sound like a drum, and like you can hear it? And yeah, you can hear it. It sounds accurate. It sounds like a drum. And it sounds like a drum on the Fluence. It just sounds like you can't hear it. With the Yamaha and the Klipsch, it doesn't sound bad per se, and it sounds quite good on the S803 because you have more presence of it, but it's not as accurate or detailed or nuanced as some of the other ones. All right? So, overall bass, for most people, I think it's going to be the Yamaha S803 just because it has more there. All right? And you can get away with not having a subwoofer. Then the Sony, because you can get away with not having a subwoofer with a Sony, but you have to get it it's particular about how far away from the wall you get it. Then the Klipsch, again, very particular about how close to the wall you get it. And then the Fluence, even though it's rated down to 50, it just doesn't feel like it has any bass. All right? All right. I'm trying to not say all right anymore, but obviously it's not working. Let's talk about the mids. For mids, I used Alice in Chains MTV Unplugged record. Great vocals, great acoustic guitars. That's why I used that record. All right, here we go. Mids. So I'm talking about level, i.e. does it feel like the mids are scooped out, like they aren't as loud as they should be from the speaker, and tonality, okay? Fluence. Fluence is very, I feel, pretty flat frequency response, and it has good body, maybe lacking a little detail. Sony. I feel like the Sony is a fairly audiophile-ish, fairly flat speaker, and the mids sound quite nice and very detailed due to their tweeter assembly. It's full, it's even, it's not scooped out, and it's detailed. Good job, Sony. Yamo. Yamo mid-range is clear. However, I feel it's a bit scooped out. So more of a V-shaped speaker, or U. I don't. Really, our speakers like V-shaped. This is more of a kind of a smile. Yeah, smile. We got a little bit of bass. We got a little bit of treble, and then a little mid-range is a little bit down. However, I'm not saying it doesn't sound good on mid-range. It still sounds good, and frankly, the mids like male and female vocals and acoustic guitars can sound very good on the Yamo, simply because you have a little bit more elevation in the treble, which gives itself some detail, or appearance of detail, if that makes sense. All right, so mids, Fluence, Sony, Yamo, Klipsch. Mids on the Klipsch are really scooped out. Not a lot of body on the bottom end. Sorry. Right. Let's talk about treble. All right, treble on these. I know it's shocking, but treble goes to the Sony because it has two tweeters. It's not just because it has two tweeters, though. It's because the tweeters and the treble overall is very well done. There's not any overt bumps or... I thought this speaker would have a lot of listening fatigue, and it simply doesn't. They're both soft dome, and soft domes lend themselves well to not having listening fatigue. They're clear, extremely clear, very clear. They're very good. All right. Yamo is going to be second in the treble department. Again, detailed. I don't feel like they're fatiguing. There's a lot of detail. Cymbal stuff maybe has a tendency to not be super accurate, whereas the Sonys I feel like are more accurate. When like cymbals, but you hit them and the decay's awful nice. Like I used Africa by Weezer. Okay, then the Fluence. Well, I think the decay and the tonality of it is good. I just feel like it's a bit boring. Okay. Yeah. Then the Klipsch. Klipsch is fatiguing. Not accurate. Feels like brief. There, but not there. Okay. Sorry. Let's talk about soundstage and imaging, which I usually talk about at the beginning. Okay, usually talk about this at the beginning. I got out of order. That's fine. Soundstage and imaging. Number one, Yamo. Very nice waveguide / horn, whatever you want to call it. Very nice. Very good off-axis imaging. Very good soundstage. Used Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. Come all the way to the right. Very, very, very good sound staging. And imaging too. You don't have to have them towed in all over the place, just right. Just put them in there and then mess around with them a bit and they get good. Yamo, number two. They also have, where are you? There you are. Nice little like metal waveguide right there. They image well. And they soundstage well. And you don't have to have them towed in all over the place. These are really designed to be flat on a wall, pointing directly out. These are too. They both have keyhole hangers on the back. And they do a great job of still giving a great center image and giving a wide dispersion so that your soundstage is nice and wide. And vertical on the ammo. Soundstage is very vertical. Hello by Adele. She sounded like she was above the speakers on the ammos. Very good. Very good. All right, then the Sony. The Sony does not stand out in the soundstage and imaging. It stands out from the sound perspective. It does soundstage and image. It just doesn't do it as well as these. Last is the Klipsch. Narrow dispersion. Again, I didn't notice any depth. Where I'm hearing depth in the soundstage is here and here. Yamo and Fluence. I'm hearing behind the speakers. I'm hearing above the speakers. I'm hearing wider than the speakers. More of a mature, higher end feel to a speaker. Okay? All right. What are my final thoughts? Final thoughts and awards. I haven't done some of these awards for a while. Oh, I got them written down. All right, here. Final thoughts are, I think the Klipsch, which we're representing here, is absolutely the worst of the bunch. I think he's... No, that's not it, Randy. It's the Monkey. So the Monkey, looking out at all the other speakers that are better than it, goes to the Klipsch R51M. It is ridiculously overpriced. And when it's even at $150, the Sony SSCS5 is a better speaker in almost every aspect than a Klipsch R51M. Completely overpriced at $230, laughably priced at $280 for MSRP. Okay? The Fluence is a very flat sounding speaker. With its flatness, it could be perceived as being boring. Okay? I find a neutral speaker gets away from being boring when it has extreme amounts of detail and soundstages and images well. While the Fluence does soundstage and image well, I do not feel like it has extreme amounts of clarity. With all that said, if you're using this in a home theater application with a receiver, chances are you are going to have access to equalization. With equalization, I think the Fluence reference bookshelf can be outstanding. It serves a it creates a very nice foundation to tailor the sound to what you want it. And out of the bunch on this table, it has the best mids. So if you are a true audiophile, this may be the speaker for you. However, there is not any bass presence. So this really needs a sub. Really needs a sub. Okay? This is a great speaker and the most affordable speaker. We'll say that's Batman. Batman Buddha. Batman Buddha goes to the Sony SSCS5. Even at $150, this speaker competes. It competes very well. At $75, this is the absolute best thing you can get out there, with maybe the exception of the first generation Pioneer by Andrew Jones. However, that first generation by Andrew Jones is a little bit touch rolled off and somewhat warmer. I think the Sony SSCS5 is going to appeal to a much wider audience than the Pioneer, even though the Pioneer does a lot of things much better, as in mid-range soundstage and imaging, than the Sony. The Sony is going to be a speaker that most people are going to get, and especially if they aren't super into the Hoppy, most people will get this Sony and be like, whoo, blown away. All right. Darth Vader, overall best speaker probably on the table for most people. For most people is going to be the Ammo. We'll give it 2 awards. It's going to be the Ammo S803. It's very good looking. It sounds great. It has a lot of nice bass on the bottom. Extension's not that great, but most people are probably going to be using this for a subwoofer. This speaker, this and the Sony are the 2 speakers that you could get away with just running 2-channel. they have enough bass presence that you're not going to feel like it's just super thin and anemic on the low end. The soundstage and imaging of this speaker are great. The only thing that is not really good about this speaker is the mid-range, and it's not the tone, it's the way that it's a bit scooped out on the bottom. The 803 is it gives you an idea of what higher end stuff's going to sound like from the immersive experience. Soundstage and imaging still sounds great, not fatiguing, but detailed, good bass presence, not great roll off, decent mids. Most uninitiated audio enthusiasts will hear the 803 and just be like, this is awesome. Build quality wise, they look great, but this is kind of like an IKEA furniture or something that you buy and assemble. If you get it, put it somewhere and don't move it around a lot, because there's going to be bumps, bruises, and things are going to come up on the edges. And I don't know, Sony's actually built pretty well. The Fluence is far and away the best, though. All right, if you like what we're doing here at the channel, you can support us a variety of ways. Patreon.com/CheapAudioMan. The link's in the description. We do Zoom meetings every Sunday night just for the patrons. We have a good time, get to know each other. You can use any of my links. If you click on them and buy, I get a commission if you use any of my affiliate links. You can also sign up for Amazon HD Music for free. You get 3 months for free. I have all my test track playlist, or I have the test track playlist. Also, I have the Satanic Panic playlist, which is a lot of fun, and we threw that together the other day. So, subscribe if you're not subscribed, if you like what we're doing. Don't feel compelled, though. Like the video if you like it. And don't binge watch anything on Netflix. Binge listen to your favorite music and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.